Once upon a time, I was a younger man. Now, half of us could start a conversation or an article that way, of course, and the other half could do the same just by adding two letters in front of man. But until you've been around for a bit, the meaning of those words is kind of hollow. Well, last week, I happened on an article here at LinkedIn Pulse in which an intelligent, well-spoken young lady made a point I've been vocal about for quite a while. Getting a college degree doesn't mean anything anymore. But a degree does matter. The problem is that we aren't doing a very good job of teaching our young people what that is. Education is broken. I'm a firm believer that blindly sending every not inclined toward any other path 18-year-old off for 4 more years of education just because is a mistake. That said, even with a dearth of good jobs for educated people, pretty much every current study says what many other studies have for decades. That expensive piece of paper has a real and immeasurable financial worth. Is it worth a monstrous pile of high-interest, non-escapable debt? For many people, no, likely not, but that's a whole nother subject, as is the fact that the $107,600 price tag Ms. Bowen placed on her piece of paper actually sounds low. $25,000 or so per year may cut it in some publicly supported institutions, but there are an awful lot of pieces of paper selling for closer to $250,000. What I hear more than anything in Ms. Bowen's story is that after putting in that extra 4 years, she knew no more about the real world or what place she wished to occupy in it than she had before, and that's the waste. Emily's story suggests that she got it a little, or she came to anyway, a little bit better than a lot of went directly from secondary school to university youngsters, but what was missing in her lead up to college was any real idea why she was attending to begin with. To her credit, Emily Bowen points out that some people, even younger than she, do get it. So, now what? Well, we could get radical. Israel famously compels many of its citizens to serve in their military, for example, and while the primary purpose of conscription is to protect the state, it also serves in many cases to provide both a level of real-world experience that kids pushed from one general education to the next lack, and the time to think about what it is young adults wish for themselves. Another touch of irony, kids who get those $250,000 American private degrees sometimes are then offered what we've come to call gap years, but joke about it as one may, or bemoan inequality if that's your perspective. The gap year has at least the potential to provide perspective too. Better, says me, that the gap year happened before college and that the price of college be much, much lower, but now we have yet another topic to cover. This keeps getting more complicated, so let's try to make it simpler. You aren't doing a very good job as a parent. And that's unfair, I'm sorry. You're probably doing a great job, but you know lots of people who aren't, don't you? People who very likely have the best intentions and a fervent hope that their children will find more successful lives than they've had, but aren't involved enough in the simple act of teaching their kids every day that responsibility matters. Can your child balance a checkbook? No, that's not even necessary anymore, is it? Well, fine then. Can your kid make a budget? Well, I'm going to stop right there. Not because there isn't a lot more, but because it's a great place to get started. It's a simple idea. It requires very little in the way of special education or tools, and is the kind of skill that will serve anyone well forever. Yesterday, I was involved in a conversation with a couple of guys I've known since the 1960s. Both of them have grown and nearly grown kids. One is in construction and politics, while the other is both an attorney and an astrophysicist. I'm not kidding. And the thing that both of these guys and I found it easiest to get was a very simple, not terribly funny on a good day, and less so in context joke about education. What does the liberal arts major say to the engineering major?
Fries with that?
I know that sounds like an indictment of general studies, and it is unless that's what you're actually interested in and hopefully have some plan to employ moving forward. But the real point isn't that there's anything wrong with a liberal arts degree at all. What matters is that you understand why you got it and what its value will be. Of course, if you're one of those $250,000 no debt people, you can ignore this. But yeah, I'll take those fries. I'm the answer guy, and I'll be back.